careers or jobs, volunteer work, for example. Now for my fun announcement. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karina and I am an Slpa who shares my family, speech, and lifestyle here on YouTube. Today's video is all about resumes, resume building, improving your resume, what to look for in a resume, what you can add, what you shouldn't do. I do have 3 tips to share with you guys and then a fun announcement at the very end. So first things first, it says cafecito y chisme, and then it has all these little banners up here and the flowers. So cute. Now, as far as resumes, I do feel that I can talk a little bit about this because in the past I have edited resumes for my friends, for colleagues as they're looking for other jobs, friends getting into graduate programs, or if they're also applying for jobs. I've given tips to my boyfriend, to my family. I feel like I help out a lot of people, and it's basic things such as like the format, the structure. Is everything all uniform? If you have your name bold, is this bold as well? You know, those are just examples. Now for speech related careers, I find that when you are fresh out of school, right, when you're looking for a job, it's easy to feel very lost. It's easy to feel like, okay, I don't have enough information, I don't have enough experience in this field. And it doesn't have to be all exactly speech related. You would like a majority of it to be speech related careers or jobs, volunteer work, for example. They're also looking for you to be almost like a well-rounded professional. So my very first tip is when you are putting on your resume, you know, your background information, your school information, your affiliations, your work experience, include an area where you can provide relevant work experience. That doesn't necessarily need to be the title, but I would add that into there in addition to your previous jobs. You want the relevant work experience to include these speech specific jobs. For example, I was a writing tutor for some time and I included that in it because the title was a clinician. So I did include in my relevant work experience that I was a clinician, for how long, and then I described it. I would also encourage you to include in this section any volunteer work you have done for any speech related organizations, something that'll give that background that you know what you're doing and you are fit for this position that you are applying to. I would also encourage you to include here your clinical hours where you had to get that done. So as you may know, when you're applying for your Slpa license, you do need some hours, you know, basically practicing. I would strongly encourage you to include that in your relevant work experience because it's you practicing. It wasn't an actual job where you might have been getting paid, but it is relevant to this position that you are applying to because you did learn something, right? So that, I think, is my number 1 tip, because again, it's easy to get tied up in like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing, or it comes down to the resume and you realize you have very little to put on your resume, or you realize, oh my gosh, they're gonna think I'm not fit for this position. And it doesn't have to be that way. Be creative and use literally all of your resources. Number 2, I also highly encourage you to try to use different verbs throughout your entire resume when you are describing your position. So a lot of people tend to put, for example, if I'm gonna put clinician at Austin Speech Labs from 2020 to 2022, a lot of people like to put bullet points underneath, and that's exactly where I'm talking about, where you're describing what you did in that position. Don't continue to say provided speech therapy, provided data sheets to I don't know, my supervisor, provided this to my clients. Try to stay away from using the same verb. It'll make it look a lot more professional. So for example, if you're going to say in your first bullet point, provided speech therapy to students ages blank to blank, then your number 2 bullet point should be led a group of blank. So now you've used provided and led. You might want to use assisted with. If you were just kind of beside an SLP, you might say assisted with blank blank blank. That way you have different verbs used throughout the entire resume. You don't want to keep using the same thing. In my opinion, it just looks like you didn't put much thought into it, or you are literally saying that you did the same thing in different ways. Again, be creative in this area. Try to think of every possible thing that you did in this position. So if you're writing data sheets, include that. If you're providing Medicaid billing, say that. If you are attending ARD meetings, say that. If you are assisting your supervisor with something, say that. You want to literally write down everything you've done so that they know when you are applying for this position that you are fit for it. And you're kind of leaving little to no room for questions like, have you done this? Have you worked with this? It's all in your resume. And lastly, my third tip to you is if you are fresh out of school or, switching from a career, or getting into the speech field, and if you do not already have your license, I think it's very easy to get discouraged and end up in this space of, okay, well, I don't have my license yet, but I want to start applying for jobs. What do I do? In this case, I would encourage you to, beneath your name, maybe write down your license pending, right? Because normally you would write down your license number, you would say your title, and then your license number in whatever state you are in. However, if it's pending, you want to say that immediately. So that way, when you are applying for jobs, they don't question you with, okay, well, when are you getting your license? Or, hey, do you have your license? Or, hey, I don't see a license number on here. I can't look you up to see if it's legit. You're already writing down license pending. So if they don't want to take that risk, I guess, and wait for you to get your license, then you're not wasting their time. If they are interested in you based off of everything else you have written, and if they're willing to help you get any hours or anything before you get your license, then that kind of shows it in saying license pending. You know what I mean? Make sure you write down license pending, and this way you can still apply for as many jobs as you would like, and your resume is complete. That is the 3 tips that I have for you guys. So again, it was writing down your relevant work experience and including everything you've done like throughout school or any speech related things you've done, in addition to, a different area, writing down your previous jobs. The number 2 tip was to use different verbs throughout your resume. I feel like this will elevate your resume and make you really stand out versus someone who's using the same one maybe twice or 3 times throughout the resume. It just it looks like you put a lot more thought into it. Lastly, my 3rd tip was to, of course, at the very top somewhere, include that your license is pending if you are still waiting on an SLPA license. Now for my fun announcement. I am now editing resumes on Fiverr. So if you feel like you still need help editing your resume, if you need someone to proofread it, if you need someone to copy edit it, if you need someone to completely revamp your resume, I am your girl. I want you to check me out on Fiverr. I am including different tiers to be editing, so you go ahead and take a look. I'll leave the link in the description box of this video. It is also on my Instagram @SpeechWithGuy if you are interested in having someone just review your resume. Again, I feel like for the resume, you're already doing the hard part in thinking of everything that you've done, right? And then with my 3 tips that I've provided in this video, I think it'll be very helpful for you to already build up that resume. So if you need an extra set of eyes to just review it, make sure everything's good to go, grammatical errors, the structure like I mentioned in the beginning, making sure the format, like everything is put together, you let me know what you'd like me to do, and on Fiverr I will do that for you. If you did like my video, please make sure to give it a big like and subscribe to my channel as well. It'll mean so much to me, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye.